This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, NBA star Jordan Clarkson and other athletes salute Alex Eala after U.S. Open history. Filipina sensation faces Buksa next. Maria Sharapova receives U.S. Open honor after her induction into the Tennis Hall of Fame. More from the world of tennis. Alcaraz debuts his shaved head, and the U.S. Open court sparkles with luxury, from diamond jewels to $90,000 watches. Let's check out who turned heads both on and off the court. Weightlifter Vanessa Sarno slapped with 2-year ban for doping violations. In Major League Baseball, BTS V ignites Dodger Stadium with electric first pitch, meets Shohei Ohtani in star-studded night. And our sports correspondent Sheila Salaysay reports on the call for stronger safety measures for athletes after the spate of tragic deaths on court. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 26th of August. Now, here's our roundup. Philippine tennis phenom Alex Eala is set to face Spain's Cristina Buksa in the second round of the 2025 U.S. Open, riding the high of her historic Grand Slam breakthrough. At just 20 years old, Eala shattered barriers by becoming the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam singles match in the Open era, stunning Clara Tauson in an epic thriller. But now, a tough test awaits Buksa, 27 years old, Paris Olympic bronze medalist, Grand Slam veteran, and currently ranked 95th in the world. She cruised past Christine Liu, 6'2", 6'1", and is determined to stop Eala's surging momentum. The buzz doesn't stop on the court. NBA star Jordan Clarkson hailed Eala's historic win, turning into a fanboy along with other Filipino sporting legends. Clarkson posted his praise on Instagram and was even spotted in the crowd on opening day. World number 5 pole vaulter EJ Obiena, Olympic silver medalist Heidelin Diaz, and Paris Olympian Sam Katantan and Gila standouts Kevin Kiambao, Gabe Norwood, Camille Clarin, and Jack Animam all shared their pride. San Miguel star Chris Ross, present at the stands, posted, "Witnessed history," calling it the best decision he ever made. Officially at 75th, Eala star is soaring as she rises to 66th in WTA live rankings, and she is officially the youngest player left in the women's singles draw. The stage is set. Will Eala's historic momentum carry her to another electrifying win? Or will Buksa's experience and grit prove too much under the New York spotlight? Meanwhile, the red carpet was rolled out at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Smoke from the cannons filled the air, and then emerged Maria Sharapova, greeted by thunderous applause as she stepped into the spotlight in New York. Fresh from her official induction into the International Tennis Hall of Fame, Sharapova was honored with a U.S. Open ring, a symbolic crown jewel celebrating her decorated career. Sharapova's career is one of the most polarizing in tennis history. A 5-time Grand Slam champion whose fierce competitiveness was matched by controversy, including injuries and a suspension. Yet her story of turning pro at 14, stunning Serena Williams to win Wimbledon at 17, and eventually capturing multiple Grand Slam titles sealed her Hall of Fame status. As Sharapova reflected, her greatest victories were not only the titles, but also the quieter moments of growth that defined her journey. Now more on tennis. Let's check out who turned heads both on and off the court.
I gotta ask the people, if they like the new haircut or not. Did you like it, guys? I think they like it.
So Carlos Alcaraz asked the crowd on Monday, and they roared. Shaved head, bolder look, and he backed it up with dominant tennis, destroying bib serving Riley Opelka 6-4, 7-5, 6-4 in just over 2 hours. 17 unforced errors, 50 of 58 first serve points won. 3 breaks and a perfect defense on all 3 break points. 19-0 in first round slam matches. Before match, he had a stubble moment with golf star Rory McIlroy. Yes, Rory touched the new do. But the US Open wasn't just about tennis. It was about glam, style, and bling worth tens of thousands. Women's number one, Aryna Sabalenka, showed off custom diamond jewels from Material Good. Choker with 8 haircut stones, tourmaline necklace, drop earrings, pieces selling for $2,800 to $13,400. Jessica Pegula, women number 4, and Bilyonaryo daughter sported the 90,000 BB28XS Starry Seas watch, same one worn by Tommy Paul and Emma Navarro. Italian mixed doubles champion Andrea Vavasori flexed the $18,000 Gerard Charles Maestro GC Sport in royal blue. While world number 1, Yannick Sinner, Gucci Global Brand Ambassador, carried the new 2,150 Gucci duffel in US Open colors. New look, lethal game, and court full of glam. Alcaraz and the Stars are making sure all eyes at Flushing Meadows are on them, and they're just getting started. Filipino weightlifter Vanessa Sarno, who once carried the country's hopes in the Olympics, now finds her career put on hold after being handed a 2-year ban by the International Testing Agency. The ITA revealed that Sarno committed 3 whereabouts failures within a 12-month period. The 20-year-old Olympian did not contest the violation and instead accepted the sanction. Her ineligibility runs from August 4, 2025 until August 3, 2027. The ban means Sarno will miss the upcoming SEA Games in Thailand, along with other international competitions within the suspension period. On top of this, all her competitive results from January 1, 2025 until the start of her ban are officially disqualified, leading to forfeiture of medals, points, and prizes. Sarno last competed at the Paris Olympics in 2024 in the women's 71-kilogram category but failed to register a successful lift. This latest development delivered a huge blow to Philippine weightlifting, a sport that produced icons like Heidelin Diaz and once looked to Sarno as its next great star. Los Angeles, the energy was off the charts as BTS V, also known as Kim Tae-young, lit up Dodger Stadium with a memorable ceremonial first pitch. The crowd erupted the moment he took the mound, and he did not disappoint. With the bout, Dodgers pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto V delivered a strike that had Army fans screaming at the top of their lungs. And just when the excitement couldn't get any louder, V capped the moment with the legendary call.
It's time for Dodger Baseball!
But the magic didn't end there. V shared a heartwarming hug with two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani inside the dugout, a scene that sent social media into a meltdown. The K-pop icon rocked a Dodgers number 7 jersey tucked into his faded jeans as he chatted with Tyler Glasnow and waved to fans who couldn't stop cheering. And yes, V kept the show going, returning to the field to throw warm-up pitches as fans captured every second with their cameras. This electric night is a reminder that sports and music together create unforgettable moments. And if the buzz wasn't already sky high, BTS is set to reunite with a new album next spring after their military service break. And if last night was any indication, the world is more than ready for their comeback. And now, here's your daily dose of sports lingo. What do white lights and red lights mean in weightlifting competitions? Strength alone doesn't decide the outcome. Every lift must be judged by 3 referees who signal their decision using lights. White lights mean the lift is valid and successful. Now, when all 3 shine white, it confirms that the lifter executed the movement correctly and within the rules. Now, on the other hand, red lights indicate a failed attempt where, due to form errors, incomplete movements, or other rule violations. Seeing 3 white lights is every lifter's ultimate goal. It's the moment that seals their effort with official recognition. In weightlifting, white lights are the true symbol of victory. It's time for our off-court buzzer. Is Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, sending a message of rebirth or a final warning to the Formula One world with his mysterious post ahead of his return to the track? After a season with Ferrari that has left him without a single podium in 14 races, the 40-year-old legend remains defiant, declaring to his millions of followers, "We have to keep going, even when it's difficult." His posts have been nothing short of enigmatic, from no days off training snaps to silent DNDs while lying in a field with his local bulldog or loyal bulldog, Roscoe. Then came the most revealing message yet, a photo under a sunset accompanied by words of gratitude, meditation, and a call to embrace the light of truth and love. Could this be a sign of rebirth for Hamilton, or a final chapter written under the prancing horse banner? His hunger for an 8th world title to surpass Michael Schumacher still burns, but time is no longer on his side. The pressure is even greater as Hamilton enters Zandvoort, a track where Max Verstappen has been untouchable in front of his Orange Army. With young drivers like Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris rising fast, Hamilton faces his toughest test of his career to prove he still belongs among the elite. All eyes now turn to the Dutch Grand Prix this weekend, where Hamilton will either break through the dark clouds of his season or watch the young Lions leave him further behind. That's our roundup for tonight, the 26th of August. Up next, our sports correspondent Sheila Salaysay reports on the call for stronger safety measures for athletes after the spate of tragic deaths on court. When we return right here on The Scorecard. Welcome back to The Scorecard. Philippine basketball is in mourning after the heartbreaking loss of young players. A grade 8 student, Ashlyn Abong of National University, and most recently, Israel Friday of the UP men's basketball team. Their untimely deaths cut short bright futures, and while many questions remain, their passing serves as a reminder that safety must always come first, and that no dream is worth an athlete's life. Sheila Salaysay reports on the call for stronger safety measures and how the community is now putting proactive mechanisms in place to ensure the athletes' protection.
Philippine basketball is in mourning after the heartbreaking loss of young players, a grade 8 student, Ashlyn Abong of National University, and most recently, Israel Friday of the UP men's basketball team. Their untimely deaths cut short bright futures and serve as a reminder that safety must always come first and that no dream is worth more than an athlete's life. In just a few months, Philippine basketball has mourned the sudden deaths of 3 young players who collapsed during training. Their passing shook the community and raised painful questions. Our athletes are being pushed too far, too fast, and without enough safeguards. One of those who has been at the forefront of raising awareness is wellness advocate Cara Malonga. Her passion for athlete safety was born out of personal and professional experience. A mom, an athlete, and a medical practitioner, she advocates to be more proactive in looking after the athletes.
My advocacy with sports safety on a larger scale started when I was working formally with Games and Amusements Board. So I used to work for GAB as within the sports safety aspect of it, in trying to develop or in developing yung protocols natin for the return to sports nung COVID-19 pandemic. And then that was when I was exposed, I suppose, to what was really the condition of the Philippines at that time when it comes to sports safety. As a mother of, athletes myself, so student athletes, it is imperative that we provide safe conditions for our student athletes, for them to be able to play.
There is also a clear safeguard from the government, reminding everyone that protecting athletes is not only the duty of schools and teams, but a responsibility upheld by national law. But what does Cara think about it?
We do have the Republic Act 10676, which is the Student Athletes Protection Act. But I do feel that it needs a bit more enforcement because it doesn't really focus more on the health and safety aspect of athletes, but more on the commercialization, the recruitment. So whether they try to improve that law or come up with a new law in terms of a health and safety act for athletes, not only for student athletes, but professional athletes, student athletes, grassroots, overall, just to be able to promote that culture of safety. Ang safety kasi gastos eh. So it is really seen as, a big expense. But then come to think of it, how much can you value a life if untoward incidents do happen? We do have a culture na medyo mapagtiis tayo. So, you know how we are. Like, Filipinos are very resilient. Rest is for the weak. Parang yun yung mindset natin eh. Push lang. And not to say that that's a bad thing, but I do feel that at this time of age, we do need to find that balance.
Malonga believes education is the first line of defense. Athletes, parents, and coaches must learn to recognize warning signs, whether it's dehydration, chest pain, or unusual fatigue, and respond before it's too late.
Keep a diary of your symptoms para alam mo kung ano yung nagtitrigger dun sa symptoms mo. Kasi may mga tao na, so not to really become technical about it, like for example, umupo siya, tumayo, may changes in blood pressure, so pwede din yun, kaya siya nahilo. So the more that you keep a track of your symptoms, keep a diary, what day, what caused it, anong ginagawa mo nung time na yun, anong kinain mo, ganyan, mas mabibigyan ng information yung doktor at makakatulong dun sa diagnosis sa'yo or yung care plan na pwedeng ibigay sa'yo. May mga gadgets na din tayo actually ngayon na pwede ring makatulong.
She stresses that awareness begins with listening to one's own body.
Pinaka-importante lang talaga na you pay attention to your body. Kasi minsan, before the body screams, it whispers. And sadly, with athletes, sometimes we do have the mindset that we need to push, we need to rest. Yun nga, rest is for the weak. Well, rest is actually needed by our body to be able to regenerate and recuperate. So it provides that longevity for athletes. So it's just about finding the balance really and proper guidance as well.
At the University of the Philippines, the unexpected loss of a young player became a wake-up call. Since then, the school has taken steps to strengthen its safeguards. For UP, athlete safety is now treated as a responsibility, not an afterthought.
Nasabi mo kanina, the physical test or medical examination na ina-undergo ng freshman, ng UP freshman. Pero nabanggit mo rin na meron pang isang test specifically for athletes. Will this be like i-implement all across sports? Is it for incoming freshmen lang? Is it going to be biannually? Meron na ba kayong mga ganong plans in place on what specific mechanisms or further testing will be done to the athlete? Hindi naman kasi lahat ng sport pare-pareho ng requirement, kumbaga. Yung contact sport, definitely iba yan sa ball sports, iba sa racket sport. So yung required kind of physical testing maybe or mental or whatever that is should be different from one sport to the other.
Yung tinatanong mo kanina, yung pre-sports participation natin, ginagawa na to since siguro mga 4 or 5 years ago. Para ito actually apart from the freshman requirement of medical checkup, meron to specifically talaga para sa student athletes natin na yearly siya. Kasi hindi lang ito yung heart condition na tinitingnan natin dito, kundi yung mga piniprevent natin yung mga injuries nila, no? So tinitingnan nila ng mga ortho doctors natin kung yung mga tuhod ba ay medyo mahina, no? Syempre katulad ng sabi mo, iba-iba yung mga requirements kasi yung mga chess players natin or even yung mga meron na tayong mga mga esports, no? So yung mga bagay na yan nag-iiba, pero just to make sure sumasali rin sila diyan, no, kasi kailangan talaga physically conditioned ka if even if your sport is a mental one, no, kailangan mo pa rin mag-undergo ng physical examination. So yes, ongoing na yan. Ang nagkataon lang kasi, Sheila, dito sa kay Israel is that kaka-admit niya lang kasi, no, sa UP. In fact, he wasn't enrolled yet. Maybe a few days before his physical exam, doon nangyari yun, no? Kakapasok niya pa lang sa program, maybe a couple of days more, yung physical exam niya doon for freshman, he will have to underwent that, no? Hindi niya inabot yun. Plus yung sinasabi kong testings for our student athletes, hindi niya rin inabot yun kasi nga bago lang talaga siya dumating. So well, in hindsight, ang dapat natin sigurong gagawin diyan ng programa is that any recruit na darating sa UP, even before stepping into the court or in the field, will have to have clearance from our medical experts.
Usually kasi 'di ba sa training or sa games, wala namang medical doctor present. 'Di ba? Para ang pinaka closest to that will be the physical therapist. Minsan may strength and conditioning coach pa during the practice. Pero in that situation na nangyari kay Israel, what do you think would be a better approach? Kailangan na ba may doctor or kailangan na ba na etong PT, SNC natin mas knowledgeable when it comes to first aid? Did you ever consider, was that part of the plans to further, kumbaga, mapaayos o mapa-improve ang sports safety within the team?
You are right. Doon sa mga ibang doon sa mga ibang sports programs natin, wala tayo talagang doktor, no? We have the presence of tama ka, yung physical therapists, but we make sure na itong mga coaches natin are equipped para dito sa mga first aid, no? As a program, we gave them seminars, no, para sa first aid, sa ano ba itong tinatawag nito, sa mga resuscitation, no, lahat ng yan pinagdaanan nila dun sa before the beginning ng natin. This is actually done by by Red Cross, no, ginawa ito para sa UP.
To summarize everything up, so parang meron na ba talagang specific steps or mechanisms that you plan to put in place para lang to make sure na yung inyo the sport safety in general or this kind of situation somehow will be avoided?
Una nga natin ginawa diyan, no, ang itong first sem, paumpisa pa lang kasi yung first sem sports, is that kailangan talaga natin ng clearance, and that's we are requiring right now with all our sports program. No, we need to go back again and be tested, and to make sure that before we can go and compete, we need to have some medical clearance. But even more than that, yung kanina yung binabanggit mo, yung presence ng doctors, in fact kasi nga meron tayo, ang UP has a hospital, di ba, yung PGH, a lot of them are volunteering talaga to give their services, no, to be present. Nakakatabangan ng puso kasi sila mismo ang sumusulat, coach, I can volunteer just to make sure na healthy yung mga athletes natin, and I really believe that we need to have a medical doctor in if not doon sa lahat ng teams, doon sa mga teams na talagang yung very tedious yung kanilang physical competition.
The same concern is shared by a physical therapist from a PBA team, Coach L.A. Rasho, who works daily with elite athletes. While professional players benefit from advanced monitoring and medical support, he says safety should not be a privilege. It should be standard for every athlete at every level.
Pero kaming protocol on kung paano yung uh, pinaka-process namin, kung sino yung tatawag ng ambulance, kung kailangan man. Meron naman kaming standby driver, may standby vehicle din yung team.
Okay.
So, yun yung immediate na dadalhin. Tapos, lahat naman to sa lahat ng games or even sa mga practice venues, we need to identify yung nearest hospitals with emergency room facilities na pwede naming dalhin doon in case na hindi na kailangan talaga ng mga ganong treatment or ganong interventions.
Sa PBA or sa team ninyo specifically, meron ba silang nire-require like na physical examination test or mga additional athletic conditioning?
Nire-require sa PBA na magkaroon ang mga staff at ang mga players na magkaroon ng physical exam. So nandito yung I think it's part of the requirements of the GAB, of the Games and Amusement Board. So, protocol siya. I mean, kailangan lahat ng players and staff. This is a yearly thing. So, may mga partners na centers na where we do our physical exams. Or minsan, merong mga partner GAB, may mga partners ang GAB na nagko-conduct ng physical exams. So, these are, dito yung papasok yung x-rays, blood tests, drug tests. Tapos dito rin in-incorporate yung ECG saka 2D echo sa mga players natin. If you remember yung kay Royder Cabrera, PBA 3x3 on bubble. So nagkaroon ng similar case. After that incident, dun mas lalo naging strict and mas naging tedious yung mga pre-participation screening natin sa mga players.
He is the team's PT and SNC, but he's also trained in basic life support, emphasized that there is still room for improvement in their emergency response measures.
If you ask me, syempre, mas okay kung mas makakapag-produce pa tayo or mas magiging uniform yung natin, yung medical screening natin. So, ang alam ko sila, Dr. Randy Molo and Dr. Canlas, sa mga prominent orthopedic doctors natin sa Philippines. They are pinaka-advocacy nila is to create a pre-physical activity screening for before participating to sport practice mismo. So, ayun. So, this comprises of ECG test, EEG test, tapos may mga questionnaires, screening, no? So, I think, kailangan mag-usap-usap, mag-collaborate lahat ng mga physical therapists or medical representatives of the different PBA teams and even collegiate teams or commercial league teams para magkaroon ng standard kung paano i-approach yung mga ganun. Para maiwasan na yung mga future na incidents.
The passing of young players have left wounds that the basketball community will never forget. But from tragedy comes a call to action to strengthen safety measures, to educate athletes and coaches, and to ensure that dreams are pursued with discipline and care. Because in the end, true victory in sports isn't measured only in championships, but in protecting the lives of those who play the game. Reporting for the Scorecard, Sheila Salaysay, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Up next, a clash of styles and spirit. Alex Eala carries the flag. Buksa brings the fire. The noise is loud, the energy is real, and history is on the line again. So tune in, lock in, and keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the Scorecard. It's time to keep your eyes on the prize. Now, Philippine pride is right back in the spotlight. Alex Eala, fresh off her marathon 13/11 tiebreak win, becomes the first Filipina ever to notch a Grand Slam singles victory. Years of promise, countless headlines, and finally, the breakthrough. Now, the reward is second round showdown with Spain's Cristina Buxa, world number 95, 27 years old, and one of those grinders who don't go away quietly. This isn't the first dance. 4 years ago, Eala actually beat Buxa in a 3-set scrap. So Buxa knows what's coming. She knows Alex doesn't blink when the rallies stretch long. But don't underestimate Buxa. She's got an Olympic bronze medal in doubles, 7 WTA titles, and earlier this year, she knocked out former champ Emma Raducanu. And by the way, she just destroyed American Claire Liu, 6-2, 6-1 in barely over an hour. Buxa's got rhythm, confidence, and just enough edge to ruin someone's Cinderella story. Now, for Eala, this is about more than a round of 32 ticket. This is about pushing that dream summer just a little further. The Filipino crowd is turning these courts into her home turf. Nearly 90% of the 8,000 fans waving flags, chanting in Tagalog, making Tauson crumble point by point. That's the X factor. Buxa's got experience, but Eala's got a nation living and breathing every swing. And that energy, it is contagious. A win means a slot in the round of 32 and a prize bump that jumps from 154,000 US dollars to 237,000 US dollars. Not to mention another page of history. So stay ahead of the action. As the US Open heats up, New York is buzzing, and the Filipino pride is ready to deliver. Here is the breakdown for tomorrow's match. And that's a wrap on our US Open preview. Eala's hungry for more. One more match, another shot at history. The Philippines is watching, the lights are bright, and the stage is set. So tune in, lock in, and as always, keep your eyes on the prize. Before we go, think on this. From years of near misses and close calls to finally raising the trophy as a PGA Tour champion, Tommy Fleetwood once said, "If I could give my kids one piece of advice, I'll always tell them to be a good person first." My dad always taught me that. Person first, golfer second. And with that, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow on the Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. This is Anton Roxas. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Good night.